This is Massive, the world's largest cruiserweight, and you're watching and listening to Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm out.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week is Tommy.
Hello.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? It's Big Mike, and we are literally at the halfway point of the train ride here in 2023. And the question is, if Forbidden Door was in Japan, how many extra stars would it be?
We probably would have had
Fair.
Toriano at least, and then it definitely would have been a 5. I'm just going to say that right now. So.
Oh, jeez Louise. God, I hope you get to meet him someday, just so you can get out of your
I hope so. You know, RCW, anybody.
I feel like he's going to do that pretty soon. He's going to do what Suzuki did. He's going to be on like his I've done it all tour, and I'll just start going different random places.
Random places, post WrestleMania shows and things like that. So
The IDA.
With that, he's got to know people boo him or don't like him, don't like him, but know all the things he's done. So just show up in random places where he's supposedly hated. So,
yes. So today we're going to talk all about Forbidden Door. Hell of a show. Amazing show. It's hard to believe. And then my memories came up last year when we did watch Forbidden Door at my place again. So pretty awesome. How did it compare to last year? Where does it go forward? And then we're going to preview Money in the Bank, which says unfortunately become an afterthought. It feels like with the way Forbidden Door was, but this we'll see what our thoughts are. Who's going to be walking out the briefcase? Is there going to be a cash in that night? We'll talk all about it. So before we get into that, though, we'll start quickly by briefly discussing this past weekend's hybrid show. Mike, I know you attended. Tommy, did you attend as well?
I ended up being able to make it. Yeah.
So it was luck of the draw. How did that work out? Would it make sense or?
Yeah, so, okay, Tommy, cool. I don't know where you stand with me on this. I don't know if they literally, for several matches, just went whatever names we pull out, or if, what was his name? Not Hazard. What was the magician?
Mayhem.
Oh. Or if he's just good enough with his card tricks to pull the card he knows he needs, because he was pulling cards out of a deck like he did in that little video they made, handing them to Terry, and Terry was turning them around and showing the camera. So it wasn't like, whoa, this is the card, and they knew ahead of time. So, I mean, granted, some of the first matches were kind of random, or they seem random, I guess, like people that didn't necessarily have a beef and stuff like that. But they had good matches, and then there were a couple you're like, oh, well, that's probably storyline. So I don't know. Either Mayhem's really good at what they do and what he does, or they decided to do some of them random and maybe fix some of the others. I don't know. Otherwise, really fun show. Hot show, but really fun show.
Yeah. They had a few extra fans in there.
Record heat in Texas. Yeah, believe me. I'm sure being on the softball field this past weekend felt a lot like that.
Y'all probably had it worse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Does this kind of show give you almost the old Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday vibe? You guys remember those WWE
I love those. Yes. I love those. It kind of did. Only difference was we didn't get to vote. I mean, but other than that, I mean, it was really a cool concept though, and but like Mike said, whether they did it in advance or he legitimately drew the cards and it was like a luck of the draw type deal, it was really cool. I like the presentation of it, especially. That was really awesome.
Yeah. Also, the crowd cheered several times for both Terry and Tommy to be chosen, but they were not.
Thank God.
Unfortunately, missed opportunity.
Also, and I've kind of mentioned this before, and I think everyone who watches, like Bernsey, like Jason, I think we have a really fun new game of watching clips that are posted online from shows that Tommy's at and seeing how many you can hear him in the clip. Because, again, as clips started being posted that night and the next day. Like, oh, listen, Tommy. Oh, listen, Tommy.
I'm loud. I know.
Yeah, but they love that.
Yeah, I know, but even I'm kind of like, dude, do I really talk a lot? Jeez.
The flocking brawlers turning face in their individual matches, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was.
Brandon Weiss yelling flamingo now when he does his splash. Yeah, that was just too much fun.
Okay.
You've been laughing.
Doctor, she got on my case about this last week. Dr. Shivani, doctor, because you are. Shut up.
But yeah, it was a fun show. They actually kind of last minute, apparently it was decided pretty late. They had a battle royal at the end of the show to crown a the first hybrid rising star champion.
Okay.
And which is why we think that Don Juan left pretty quickly, because I don't think he's allowed to be a rising star anymore.
He can't be.
It sounds like the type of title would be like one of those under 30 titles or something like that. You know? So,
so shout out to Devin Carter for winning that one.
Nice.
Had a pretty good show in there. And overall fun show. I mean, yeah, it was really hot, but we made the most of it. We had fun, and Hybrid's just doing really well with their students and the few people they bring in that are always a part of it. So, they're back July 22nd. We recommend people go if you can make it.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike said July 22nd. Make sure you're hydrating the day before and throughout the day for those kind of warehouse shows. July 2nd this weekend is going to be RCW. And then BOW is also July 8th as well. Mission Pro, of course, is August 12th. And RCW did announce the rest of their dates for the year. September 16th, October 22nd, and November 12th. As of right now, those are the remaining RCW dates for the rest of the year. Who knows if they decide to have a pop-up show here and there or something like that. So
the Sunday show, just real quick, also really stacked, has 11 matches. They've all been announced. There's graphics out there with all of them on there. They have just about all their titles on the line: heavyweight title, Phoenix title, tag titles. So pretty stacked show Sunday night there at the Grand Event Center. Last I saw earlier today, there was still a handful of individual seat tickets left. So if you want to jump on that, it's always a fun show. They have good people there. It's again, San Antonio's pretty much longest running wrestling promotion going. So
yeah, and I believe they're on Title Match Network as well. So if the event sells out, you can still watch it on Title Match Network. Check out TitleMatchNetwork.com. They get those details.
Okay. So. Sorry, I just remember something I got to do later concerning the show.
Okay.
So, sorry.
All right. So, here we go.
He's not on.
Yeah.
And then what? I just thought about it since we're kind of talking about this kind of stuff.
Thank you, brother.
This weekend at Wonderland of Americas, we have the Rock and Wrestling kind of like thing out there where they're going to have a bunch of the wrestlers. Were you going to mention that or?
You just remind me. I actually need to pull up the graphic.
Okay,
so we can talk.
So I'll talk about it a bit while you're pulling that up. They're going to have Ted DiBiase, Erwin R. Shyster, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Cheryl Roberts, who honestly don't know if they're still married.
I don't know.
That was the storyline, if you remember back, like in the late '80s with Ravishing Rick Rude, where he was always like hitting on her. There was a famous, like if you're old like us, where Rude pulls down his tights to reveal a second pair of tights, and it's airbrushed Cheryl Roberts on there. And then of course Buff Bagwell, which I don't know, it's cool to me. I always enjoyed his gimmick while he was in WCW, especially when he became Buff Daddy and Buff Bagwell. So
that's all cool.
You see that there, but also connecting that back to RCW at 2:00 on Saturday. There you go. They are going to do RCW honors, and we talked about this a little bit last week. Introducing their first 4 members. Is that listed on there, or I think I remember one?
It's not on their tweet.
Okay.
But let me see if I can find the RCW.
So it's the Treats, Don Juan, and Chris Marvel. It is Reina Pink.
Yep.
It is Aquaman. What was his his actual
Jonathan
name?
Vela.
Jonathan Vela.
Vela, there you go, Vela. Mm-hmm. And then
Encyclopedia Carl.
There you go, Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
So first 4 people to what kind of things you looking at?
That's the stuff. This is RCW's page, dude. This is RCW's page. Yeah.
In JC's defense, who knows? Brandon has booked Katie Forbes religiously, so there's probably a lot of stuff.
and Rebel Tanea, so.
Yep. So.
And Paige Turner. Oh wait, she wasn't in that crowd, but sorry, that was my brain that went there. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh my God, Paige Turner.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot about that.
Okay, so real quick, I don't think I ever told you guys this because I actually didn't realize she did it until much later. She actually does work at a library, and my book is actually at her library.
Really?
She sent me the listing where it's listed how you could if you want to check it out at her library. Awesome. Yeah,
that's too cool, dude. That's
awesome.
I
might have got a bit misty eyed because I did not know she did that. I was like,
don't blame me one bit. That's super cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. I should ask: have you got your reserve yet on AEW Fight Forever? Are you going to be disappearing for a while?
I don't have it. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have time to disappear this weekend, and I don't have a reserve, but I'm going to try and go pick it up sometime early next week. Yeah, because our next couple of weekends are kind of busy, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, I was excited to see a little quick demo of the skateboard involvement around the ring, into the ring, jumping off the skateboard onto a table, somebody laying on a table outside the ring, which is pretty epic.
Yeah.
So
they really went hard into their hardcore match stuff, and all kinds of crazy. Yeah, so it looks like fun. Definitely looks more arcadey than simulation, and it has most of the big AEW people. I think there's a few that are going to kind of be coming out on DLC a little bit later.
Yeah.
And then, we'll see what else they add.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Cody Rhodes is still in there on the roster too.
Yeah. Apparently so, because that's when it started. When he was under that contract. So.
All right. Well, let's move on then to AEW Cross New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door.
And I'm just going to come out and say this. Tommy was pissed off from the beginning of the show. Now, granted, he wasn't at their house to see the beginning, but when we told him what opened the show and who opened the show, it just added to the MJF hatred even more, I'm pretty sure. But how great was that jacket?
It was terrible. It was the worst jacket of all time. It was a trash-ass jacket for a trash-ass person. That's what it was.
It's almost like MJF garnered the exact thing he was trying to, and Tommy is living proof.
Yeah, he did a great job of being a heel. Also, he can go eat shit for all I care. So yeah, not saying it wasn't effective. I'm just saying I hate him. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
There's a lot. I mean, we could talk about so much. 14 total matches, 1 of them dark, 4 on the pre-show that aired on the pre-show.
Jeff Cobb was there. That's all that matters.
Jeff Cobb was there on the pre-show. Athena defeated Billy Starks for the opening round of the Women's Owen Hart Tournament first round match. Yeah. What did Tom? Oh.
Okay, Doc. You know my mouth. Why did you let? Okay, cool. Whatever.
Anyway, I want to open this by saying, there's plenty of highlights. We'll talk in depth about Danielson, Okada, Ospreay.
So we will indeed.
But I want to reach besides those, what match stood out to you guys the most? Beyond that, I mean, those 2 we're going to depth to, but besides those 2, which one stood out to you? The rest of Forbidden Door.
There were other matches.
Well, when I go back and when I got to go back and see it, Punk and Kojima was just fun because Punk fully leaned into the heel side of things, which was great. But also, dude, I don't think we're giving Orange Cassidy his enough credit right now because he has been killing it. I know Mike said it before, but I think this is just really shutting down all those haters, man, because this is something in the ring with 3 of the most technical beasts in all pro wrestling and still held his own, man. Orange Cassidy, bro. I was already a fan, but he's made a 100% believer out of me, no matter what.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I picked him because
I think I picked him.
because I feel like okay, a 4-way, that's an easy way to
like have him lose.
We all actually picked Orange Cassidy on that one.
Oh, we did. Okay,
but if you recall, you guys were saying you're going to Deonna Purrazzo this thing. And what did I say we were going to do with this?
Oh, that's a good point.
I was going to Roman Reigns this thing because I want to see him get to 1,000 days with his title, so we can get Orange Cassidy 1,000 days T-shirts.
It's just going to say 1,000 whatever.
Yeah. Are you guys a believer in the 1,000 days run that Orange Cassidy needs to make right now?
He won a match with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata in it. Yeah, I'm a believer at this point. Screw this, man.
Am I a believer? Yes. Am I a believer in Tony Khan hanging out that long? I don't know. Do I think it should happen? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do I think Tony Khan will let it go that long? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that one's the hard call.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. You know. Fans got to jump on that too. So
yeah, but well, I think like he sure be like acknowledge whatever, you know, and just have a lazy hand, like go up, you know, like yay, all right, cool, all right, awesome.
I just feel like if he gets there, you know, they're gonna have a celebration, and be like, I'm tired. This has been a long couple years.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah. I do remember when he did the when he when I think Renee asked him, so what's next for you? Renee, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to start talking. Someone's going to walk in. Yep, there they are right now. Honestly, I just love that. I love that he said, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to start talking. Someone's going to walk in. Yep, there they are.
Yeah, that's the AEW twist. An interview that actually finishes backstage.
Yeah,
with just the person.
This is true.
Twist now.
All right, Mike, I know you were keenly interested in some level with the Sonata Jungle Boy Jack Perry match, especially with what happened afterward with that storyline. Well, kind of when we were watching it. But I mean, with the turn afterward, I think that's what everyone had their eyes on. You know, how was it going to be a hook that turn, Jack Perry turn, and then of course with what happened tonight on Dynamite.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you were watching the last couple of weeks, unless it was the double twist, they were setting up Jack Perry for that. Even in the way he kind of asked Hook to be there with him, like when he did that whole thing, you could kind of see it coming. It was a good match. They although I felt bad, I saw online that apparently it was like the shortest IWGP heavyweight title match in like quite a while because it went like 10 minutes or something. Only.
Yeah.
And you know most of those go longer, but. I mean, it was a good match, and you know, Sonata's pretty awesome, and Jungle Boy can go again. I just, you know, I think his character had kind of stalled out there. So obviously, you know, if you watch tonight, they're changing that. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep up with it because he got some mic time, and he seemed to follow the Christian school of say very. Over the top offensive thing.
So I read some online where someone said some Christian is in the back just smiling right now.
So we'll see if it holds on. He definitely needed something different. I still think he needs to cut his hair. But I
honestly think that's next. I feel like they just didn't do it this week, but I feel like that's next. But I feel like he was hanging on to like the Jungle Boy stuff until they had the 4 Pillars match. You know, I think they wanted to get that out of the way because I mean, of the 3 guys in that match, you know, only one dude really was needing a gimmick change.
Yeah.
Darby doesn't need one. I feel like he's gonna rock his gimmick like Sting does until the end of his career. Maybe add a full face paint and go Jokerish a bit, you know, because he needs to be crazier. You know, he's too sane at the moment.
You want Darby to be crazier?
That's what that was sarcasm as all hell. Believe me.
In all fairness, Sammy got saved by knocking up Ty because I don't. I mean, the crowd turned face with him when he told them they were pregnant. They weren't really behind him before that.
I mean,
they were really trying to make him a face. And honestly, I think the only reason they're like, "Oh, you're going to be a parent. Congratulations."
But again, a missed opportunity if MJF could have come out, grabbed the mic, and said, "Hey, the kid is not yours." Yeah,
that would have been funny.
That would have been hilarious.
Yes.
Also, if there was a match you would have said I would have been interested in,
that's what I was going to get to next. I should already know. Elite versus
BCC and the Elite.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah.
Interesting, and they continued it tonight. The storyline between Eddie Kingston Moxley, even with Renee Paquette kind of getting involved in the backstage segment.
I saw a clip of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
how do you think this plays out with Kingston? We already know the hatred between him and Claudio. Is it going to be something where Mox is in the middle? Is Kingston? I mean, I don't know. How can
I honestly see it as Moxley choosing the Combat Club over him, and then Kingston winning the ROH World Title off of Claudio, which is where I think this was going all along.
Yeah. I guess he has to lose it sometime.
He has to lose at some point, Mike. Come on, dude.
Mike wants the Claudio 1,000 days.
Well, that's okay, because then he could turn his attention to MJF and take.
I mean, honestly, he could. That's who I thought who might be the one to unseat MJF was Eddie.
No, I meant Claudio go after MJF, not Eddie.
That too.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah. I do see Eddie eventually dethroning Claudio. I think that makes the most sense. And even if he doesn't win the title, I think an MJF Claudio match would be amazing because Claudio.
Anybody I was gonna say Claudio can make anyone look great. So.
Right, and for to give him his credit, MJF does really good in his big matches. So I think that would be fun down the road. But also, I agree with Tommy. I think Mox is going to stay with the BCC. There was kind of a story about Don Callis bringing in a family to take out the Elite, and so far it's just Takeshita, and I think he only got added because they set up Blood and Guts tonight for July 19th, and I think Bryan Danielson not broken his arm, which we'll get to later. It seems like Takeshita, it's going to be 4-on-4 with Takeshita as the fourth man. I don't know if he would have stayed in there. I guess he might have because he still had the thing with Kenny. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it seems like he's taking Bryan Danielson's place. So, then again, I think there might be playing of Kenny being out, aren't they? Or did he come back tonight? No, they're playing that up because it was the Bucks, Hangman, and Eddie, and that seems to be the 4 to go against the BCC 4. I would assume they may bring a 5th person on each side. I don't know. But right now it seems like a 4-on-4.
Real quick side note, I don't know if you guys saw, there's a backstage photo of John Moxley, Shota Umino, and Takeshita. It legitimately looks like a dad with his 2 stepsons, just so proud of how far they've come. It's like Moxley's just like, look at my boys. Like, I'm so proud of them. They're doing so good in life. I know I'm not your actual dad, kids, but you make me proud like you were my own son.
Well, so I guess
and they're smiling like they're just like, we love you too, Dad. You're the best guy who ever beat us up.
I guess that makes Moxley a lot like JC when it comes to his interests. So.
Sure, we're gonna go that route. Match stood out to me. Of course, the one that I had a keen interest in was Sting, Darby Allin, and yes, it was Naito. Which, by the way, Mike, shout out before they announced who the partner was going to be. Mike, you did predict it would be Naito, so props on that. Versus, and this was the name that they had, Les Suzuki Gods. By the way, that was the official name for Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki.
For the record, thanks to Mike, I did find that picture, and I also found someone had a larger version of it. That's full screen length. Yeah, the pose. And I haven't made it my background yet, but believe me, it's coming.
It will be soon.
It will be soon. It's coming. I might put it in my Facebook cover photo because that's such a good photo.
There is something about Murder Grandpa also just having so much corny fun with people. It's so
he doesn't weird. Give a damn anymore.
Yeah, I know, but it's just it's fun, but it's so odd because you're like, this man could kill you and wrap you in a pretzel. But also, he's going to pose with these 2 clowns. So
because he has proven himself time and time again. Now he's like, I can be goofy, I can be silly. Because guess what? None of you are going to make fun of me for it. You know why? Because I could still kill you if I felt like it. I love that. There. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. There's one time. I think he was in America. This was one of the first times New Japan was in America, and they were cheering for him. And he yelled, "Don't cheer for me, you bastards! I'll murder you in the street." And they still like, yeah.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a 6-man tag, that match was just fun.
Yeah,
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And then you got Sting still showing up on Dynamite, jumping off a damn ladder onto the announce table today.
I need Sting to remember he's over 60. Dude, I get it. If you want to go out wrestling, I get it. Don't stop jumping off the stuff.
Sting, I know you started your career with a lot of matches with Terry Funk. I don't think you need to end your career trying to beat Terry Funk.
Trying to bookend it. That's all he's trying to do.
Yeah, seriously, that's the connection there.
Oh my God! Now Terry Funk's gonna be like, "What? He's doing my stuff? Let me out of this wheelchair! I got that little bastard one more time."
the minute Sting goes to the apron and does the acai moonsault like Funk, I'm done. Because for the most part right now, he's just jumping off of things. The minute he hits the springboard and does the acai backwards, I'm like, all right, I can't.
I remember from the ECW Barely Legal pay-per-view when like Terry Funk did like the moonsault. I was like, that's one of the ugliest moonsaults I've ever seen. It's also one of the coolest. I can't even front. So,
Jason. I mean, two guys that face each other young in their career and have storied long.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird coming from me. It feels like Sting's doing it a bit better than Muta was doing it towards the end. Only reason I say that is because I think Muta was trying to do too much of what he used to do. I think Sting knows he has to modify his ish a bit. He can only jump off of one thing a night. It's like okay, there's the one thing. I'm gonna jump off that, and I'm gonna rest for like 10 minutes afterwards.
So what you're saying is what we're building up to is in Sting's final match of his career, we're getting at least one shooting star press from Sting because that would be insane.
Yes.
I can't say that he won't do it. That's the worst part. I want to be like, well, Jason, you're right. Yeah, that's true. He doesn't. You're absolutely right about that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, fun match. Interestingly enough, Naito got the pin on Suzuki for that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Suzuki's also good for that. He's really good at putting everyone else over.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really talks about that.
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't hurt his career at all. Because like again, what are you gonna do? Make fun of him for losing? Yeah. Okay, then you're just next. That's all you are.
All right, let's get obviously these could go potentially arguing which one was the match of the night, and we'll start with the IWGP United States Championship, Omega versus Ospreay, a rematch of what happened at Wrestle Kingdom, and these guys went at it for almost 40 minutes,
Just shy of.
Yeah, Tommy, seeing all this, you watch Wrestle Kingdom. Was this as good as, not as good, or better than what they did at Wrestle Kingdom?
I can't believe these words are leaving me mouth, like legitimately. I think they actually surpassed what they did at Kingdom, man. Maybe it was the fact that they added, the blood to the match. Maybe it was the Don Callis thing was really well done, integrating him into this. Or maybe it was just the number of freaking kickouts, like the one-winged angel, which was a 1 that I did. Jaw
it was
dropped
not
out.
Omega's one-winged angel though. It was.
This is true.
Ospreay's, yeah. So still protected, right?
But it's like, damn, they went hard for this show, man.
Well, no, I saw people saying similar things online that I think this is better than Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
I don't know, because they did a really good job of kind of slowly turning it up, and then when they did. It was like
it was like they were. It wasn't going back down. Once they turned it up, that was it.
I think the real turn was when Ospreay started just getting real brutal, and he was like smashing Omega's face into the apron, then took him outside to the
announce table.
Yeah, he pulled like the top off and was smashing his face. Like it just got real brutal there. And then of course, everyone talking about the Tiger Driver 91 towards the end.
Yeah.
Apparently Omega has a similar neck to Ibushi.
There's also and I'll peel back this curtain a bit because someone else did. They showed a video of it or a picture. He actually doesn't really land on his neck as much as you think at first. It really does like he turns a bit and like he hits it on his his right shoulder. It looks like he turns a bit and it lands more on his right shoulder. It just gives the effect that he landed on his neck. Because there's a picture where you can clearly see his shoulder hitting the mat first.
Yeah.
So it's like, and again, masters of their craft.
I feel like
this is also Will Ospreay's, repeated proving that he's not just a high flyer for everyone. Even though most of us know that, there are people who still think he only does that, and it's just not true.
I agree.
The Don Callis storyline with this, my one issue with the match. The guy was kicked
out
of the ring.
That was
It just,
that was weird.
For lack of a better term, opens up doors for the possibilities. Like, what's the point of expelling him from ringside if he's allowed to come back down? The ref sees him there again and doesn't sort of like DQ the match or something like that. I mean,
well, so where do they do the third match? Is it? We talked about this that night. Is it All In? Is it all the way to Wrestle Kingdom? Because maybe the thing is, it's like a Don Callis in a cage or a suspended type thing.
I say All In personally because I mean,
Ospreay's
backyard. Yeah.
I'd say All In because the crowd's going to be insane for that. You thought the Canada crowd was insane. Right. I think that All In crowd might just lose.
Who do they back? Do they back Ospreay in that match? You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not because UK crowds typically just cheer for who they legitimately like, and Omega's big over there, and Ospreay can be a serious dick when he wants to the point where his own country would be pissed off. So that's hard to call. Let's see how they get it up there. So
I found something else out, and I was so disappointed. I can't believe I got worked. The Canada flag was a plant.
Oh, it was?
Pretty
obvious.
Oh, dang. I can't believe it. I was so devastated. I thought he really stole some. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You're so devastated.
I got worked.
How great was that to be like, just a lot of nods to Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart feud with that one,
Oh, speaking of that, have you guys seen Shane Taylor's social media lately?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But did you see he has someone designed a shirt for him?
Yeah.
No,
it says the knockout cure. Yeah.
It's the Cowboy Kid.
It's on. I think it's on his. I don't know if it's on his Twitter, but I know it was on his Facebook today. Because I was like, I messaged him when it's up. Let me know.
Bernsey, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. And we'll talk about the other match, which was
duck it, quack.
Great in his own right, and had some that were like, holy crap, I can't believe he did that. But I think the added brutality and the hardcoreness of this match that the Danielson Okada match didn't have, but also because this, even as a second match, felt like more of a blood feud.
Yeah,
I think that really added to it.
You know what I feel like? I feel like that Okada and Danielson are even if everyone thinks like that match was better than theirs, they're probably like, yeah, we've been having matches of the century for the past 20 years. I mean, it's the past 10 years. Well, they can have this one.
No. I don't know if you saw some of the stuff from the scrum afterwards when they were talking to Danielson.
Yeah.
Apparently he was like, no, I told TK I don't want to go on after those guys. That's why it wasn't back-to-back main events.
Which is smart because that crowd would have been dead for that. Yeah.
That's fair.
I was like, no, I don't want to go after those guys. But it was a crazy match, and he hit the finish on him again with the weird stuff with Callis. But I think, did we all pick Ospreay?
I can't remember what I picked.
Mike, I think. Let me see.
I picked Ospreay.
We all did pick Ospreay. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think it makes sense in the storytelling and the feud. So
I think we're all understanding that there's going to be a third one, and it'll probably be All In. We talked about it last week, So now the main event announced for the show: Bryan Danielson versus Okada. And just recap the picks here. Obviously, Tommy picked Okada. I picked Danielson. Mike actually thought this was going to go a time limit draw.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I was right. I did not see it ending the way it did. Submission ending. And Okada, the last time, I think you looked it up that night, Tommy, the last time he submitted a match was to Shinsuke Nakamura. This was in
2015 and in the G1 Climax. And that was in Japan. Another fact about this was Okada doesn't lose when he leaves Japan. I was like, that's why I was so shocked, because I feel like that's in his contract. If he leaves Japan, he don't lose. It's like, I ain't going to no other country to lose. I'm Okada, damn it.
Yeah.
But then again, he's probably like, to who? Okay, I'll lose to him. That's fine.
It makes you wonder, like, when did they decide to pull this off? Because look, obviously we know there's so much to this match to talk about. We could start with the fact that Tony Khan paid an exorbitant amount of money for one-time use of the final countdown for Bryan Danielson.
And just real quick, the best part is apparently as part of the deal, they do not have to dub it out of future reruns.
Oh, nice! That's cool.
It gets to stay in there, so that is super cool. Because
I mean, if you're paying that much money, I would hope you get the license for any sort of resale.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what the hell are you paying the money for? So the final countdown plays. I'm sure we're going to be hearing it all over the place. People making interest because that song is back. And obviously there was a point in the match where it stopped. Bryan Danielson's arm was just hanging. People thought maybe he separated his shoulder injury, but they kept going with it. Come to find out later, his arm was literally broken. They said fractured, but
so at first that night he was like, "I think it's fractured, maybe 6 to 8 weeks at the most."
yeah,
And then the next day or yesterday,
yesterday
posted the
X-ray.
X-ray. Yeah, it's just like
clean break.
clean break. Yeah,
Clean break right here.
But the fact that he still went another 10 minutes and then celebrated with the crowd afterward, and he was just Black Knight. It's a flesh wound.
And I think it wound up happening. I think Okada landed on him on the elbow drop.
Yeah.
It seems to be what happened because the doc even came into the ring briefly, and so AEW for what it's worth has been really good about having the doc come in for excessive bleeding, check on injuries. They've tried really hard to do that, but they've also known that they can mix that into storylines at times, so you're not quite sure if it's real or not. And so same thing here. I thought maybe he got a stinger. We talked about the separated shoulder. So the doc kind of came in to A, check on him, and to B, give him a little bit of time. But then he brushed him off pretty quick. They kept going, and it was dragging, but then he hit a couple of moves where it looked like he was using it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, it must be a work. What?
Yeah.
No, not a work at all.
Because that adrenaline hits, you just forget the pain. And that's
it's also Bryan Danielson. I think he would have rather him take the arm off altogether than stop that match when it did. He's like, I'm wrestling Okada right now. You can so he probably whispered to Doc Sampson, you can either take the arm off or you can let me finish this match. What's your choice?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say because there's like a famous story, JC, you may know. I don't know how much, Tommy, you remember 80s football, but Ronnie Lott broke his finger and they basically cut off his fingertip. Instead of taking him out so we could go back in.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they put it on ice so they can reattach it later.
Something like that. I was like, Daniel Bryan's like, can you just take it off and I'll come back for later?
Well, this also runs the story of Bret Hart saying when he dislocated his finger wrestling Roddy Piper for the Intercontinental title.
It might have been.
And then he just said he just popped it back in place and because he just worked his hand until it felt better. I was like, man, wrestlers are a different breed, man.
That's that old school mentality. I mean, you talk football. Emmitt Smith separated his shoulder early in the game, went on to fucking tear up. I want to say it was the Giants one week too.
Yeah.
Ginobili in the one. Well, a few things with Ginobili, but there was the one playoffs where he basically dislocated his shoulder and he played in that brace and he couldn't move it more than that, but they put some special brace in him. Also gave one of his two little men to the team, taking a charge. So
there
was that.
There's plenty of that, but this match was honestly, it felt, and not just because of the music, but just the way the match laid out. This felt for the first time in a long time for me like pre WWE Bryan Danielson.
Oh yeah,
we haven't seen that in such a long time, and it was a hell of a throwback to it. Music definitely helped. I'll say that, but yeah, just the way the match was structured, the style, the psychology, the intensity of it all was just amazing. And for that finish to those are Bryan Danielson matches. Sometimes those finishes would come out of nowhere. He's got him. It doesn't look like it looks like it would be like a setup submission to something else. And it's painful enough that the guy just taps out.
There was one match he had like that with Roderick Strong when Danielson was always world champion. Roderick Strong challenged him, right? They had been going for I think over maybe a half hour or so. He had been working on Strong's arm, ironic, the whole match, and it wasn't like a big major face submission. It was just pretty much they just locked Roderick's arms in between his legs and just pressed down, and Roderick tapped so fast because he was that was the pains in. So I was like, that really was an ROH throwback that Danielson would just get you in the hold and you just couldn't freaking get out of it, and it was just you were in pain the whole time.
Well, let me ask you: do you think if he doesn't injure his arm, that the original ending is still him tapping out Okada? Do you think that's what
I want to say yes. Because I feel like they want to run this back. I feel like they because for one, Bryan's not in the G1, Okada is,
right,
and two things I think is going to happen out of that. One is Okada's going to go in with people doubting him, thinking he can't pull it off, and another is he has a rival in Japan right now from Pro Wrestling Noah, Kaito Kiyomiya,
and Dudu kicked him.
Yeah. And that ish is not over. I don't know if you guys saw a clip from their All Together show. It's the first time in Japan they've done this in a while. It's when New Japan, All Japan, and Noah put a show on together. It's like a benefit show, and there was a 6-man tag, and Okada just went and blasted kind of right in the face, and they just like so this is not over between them. So so I think either the show before Wrestle Kingdom or maybe even Wrestle Kingdom, if, depending on how they book it. But I think we're going to get a rematch on a big stage between Brian and
we need to get him in a New Japan ring.
That was going to be my next question. Obviously, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a little bit more, so at least 2 months with this injury. I remember when it was a long time ago. I've had a broken arm before. It took 6 weeks for it to fully recover, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
I would say because he's won, this sets up a hell of a match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Whether Okada's champion or not. And even if Okada is champion, I hope the challenger is Danielson. I hope they run this promo. And I hope Danielson wins. Because I want to see a vulnerable Okada like, God, I can't beat this guy. Like, give me a long-term story where this guy really is the best in the world.
They could do that because they could harken it back to when Okada just felt like he could not beat Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, no matter what he did, and it took it wasn't until like 5 years later that he finally beat him at Wrestle Kingdom in the main event. And you could have something like that here. You could have something like
next year Forbidden Door when they finally get another shot at when he gets another shot, something like that. Yeah.
Also, I think you just want to see the Gaijin win at Wrestle Kingdom.
It would be nice. When was the last time it happened?
But of all the Gaijin in the world, Danielson would be the one. Like even Gato and Jado would be like, "Yeah, he's cool. Yeah." He's like, all of you Gaijin are garbage. Not you, Danielson. You're doing great.
That would be something amazing. So there is thankfully. I mean, yes, it's an arm break. It's severe. But it's one of those injuries that when you compare to some of the other injuries that wrestlers face, he'll be able to recover fairly quickly.
It's also one of the injuries that even Davison himself is like, "Are you kidding me? It's a broken arm."
Yeah.
Whoop-de freaking do.
Also, in all seriousness, like I don't think he was on there tonight, but I see him eventually coming back and just staying on commentary during BCC.
Yeah,
he's kind of done for some of them, kind of doing that Regal thing, where you're talking through all the technicality of it, and I kind of see him doing that.
It'd be pretty cool, or at least in their corner on some level. With cast on. They could use the cast as a storyline, right? To put a metal plate in it, something. All right. As far as our pick results went, Tommy went 6-4, Mike 7-3, and I went 9-1. And the one match I missed, I think this is one we all missed, if I'm not mistaken, was we all picked the Blackpool Combat Club. And of course, they lost to the Elite. So, yeah.
Oh, we did?
Oh,
yeah.
I can remember what you got wrong. Okay.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we did.
Right. Yeah, that was the one we got wrong. So, one away from pulling a Tez on Forbidden Door, right? So, all right, on to our WrestleCast ratings 0 to 5, 5 year WrestleMania 17, 0 being a December Dismember. And if you're watching us along live or even after the fact, let us know your rating on the 0 to 5 scale for AEW Cross New Japan Pro Wrestling's Forbidden Door. Tommy, we're going to start with you. What is your rating for Forbidden Door?
Screw it. I'll give it a 5. I don't even care, man. Call me biased all you want. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. Yeah, cool. All right. I'm biased, and I'm still giving it a 5.
Okay. Mike?
I'm going to follow Tommy. And I don't even have any shame in saying based on 2 matches, yes. Based on 2 matches because of the caliber of those matches, the environment of those matches, like you said, the feel like when you felt the crowd get energetic when Final Countdown came on, and you even said it, JC, while we were sitting there, you go, watch. You want to see a crowd get loud? Wait for the line to hit. Yeah. Sure enough, he made his way to the corner, got up there just in time for for it to sync up. And it was perfect. Again, even with the crazy ending, that almost kind of adds to it. Because you're like, oh, he broke his arm and he finished, another,
That's what makes it a 5 for me. Because like he legit had his arm broken, just said, screw it, and kept going.
They said 10 minutes, but I think this needs to be one of those like things where like hyperbole kind of takes over. It's like he went 45 minutes with a broken arm after he broke it 5 minutes in.
I made Okada tap out with a broken freaking
arm. It's like I said we should tell that story of Manu Ginobili blocking James Harden. Manu Ginobili was 67 years old when he blocked James Harden.
Coming to America style.
Go full coming, yeah. That man was 74 years old when he blocked James Harden like he did. Man, Coach Father came in here. I said, "Pop, how's Ginobili?" He said, "Hey, he's 147 years old. 147 years old."
Now that we've said it, let's see the Coming to America barbershop memes with everyone's like, Brian Danielson beat Okada with a arm. That man's 85 years old. Like,
I guess I know what I'm doing tonight. Now that you said that,
I'll be right back. Sean, I don't know exactly what you're referring to with.
I think he might have meant like he said because I do remember a clip of Omega saying that this is not over. I do remember him saying that.
Jason gives it 4.5. He adds to the Manu Ginobili thing with a bald spot, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, full reference here. I gave last year's Forbidden Door a 4.25. We know why. So, obviously, this one was better than that. It was an amazing show, but. Where the fuck is Toriano?
Here we go. Here we go.
So
maybe he was too expensive for Tony Khan.
I mean, he blew all his money on the final countdown.
That's what it was. That's what it was. He had JC. Look, take solace in this. Tony Khan had a really tough choice. He was probably sitting in his office for days thinking, "What do I pick, Toriano or the final countdown?"
Now look,
I just can't have both.
And I understand that, and that's fine. But I get it. Fine. If that's the decision you make, then you made the wrong fucking decision. Because you could very easily pay for Toriano and then hire like the Toronto Tabernacle Choir, whatever choir's in that area, to sing the final countdown for Bryan Danielson's entrance.
Wow.
Could have gotten everybody out there, but I digress. 4.75 for me. Okay. That's where I'm going with this. Now it is. I couldn't remember what my rating was last year in my head, but thinking I can't remember if I gave it a 4.75 last year, so I'll give this a 4.76. But it was a 4.25, 4.75 because I expect next year to be better. Like I want it to keep getting better. I can't say it's like, oh, it's a 5.
Do what Meltzer does. Go beyond the 5.
Yeah,
I'm not Meltzer.
Well, it's also not the Tokyo Dome. So.
Birds, you call it out. Like, why wasn't he there? Is your guess as good as mine? So,
Sean also pointing out that he told Ospreay to stay away from Don Callis, which is just solid advice.
In general, in life. Yeah.
Lance Storm gives out that advice every day on Twitter.
Yeah. Dude. Man, I wish Lance Storm would wrestle again because the feuds he's starting on Twitter just make you want to see the match.
I don't know if you saw this one on Twitter, but Don Callis, he might have. So I don't know. I don't remember if Don Callis said this in an interview on TV and someone wrote it on Twitter, or he tweeted this. But he said something like, "When Takeshita walks in a room, his dick gets there like 2 minutes ahead of it."
Yes, I did see that.
And Lance Storm answered and was like, "So you walked 2 minutes ahead of Takeshita to Don Callis?" And I was like, "All right, I like that." Lance Storm, not to totally go off on a sidetrack, gets such a reputation of being like boring and straight. Like if you follow him on Twitter, he has a really great sense of humor.
Yeah, no, he does, really man. He's so funny. He's such a funny dude.
So Forbidden Door overall rating 4.92.
Yeah. So we're going to call Toriano the missing 0.08.
Pretty much. And on be honest, like if we remove our rating for Wrestle Kingdom, which by the way is based solely on Tommy's rating, which was a 5. This is the highest rated show of the year for us, where all three of us have rated a show together. Mm-hmm. So this is that show right now. And to be honest with you, I look back on all these other shows. Yeah, it makes sense. It's going to be hard for anything the rest of the year to top.
What did we give WrestleMania?
Those
were high, right?
Those were high. Yeah, we were
WrestleMania. Believe me, I think I talked about this. It was actually our lowest rated show of the year. It was 4.125.
Did we?
It's because of night 2.
Did you? Yeah,
we averaged both nights together.
What about? And I'm only saying this because the Bloodline storyline. So, what did we do with Royal Rumble and with what was the one in between with Sammy?
Royal Rumble got a 4.33. Chamber also got a 4.33.
Interesting.
Where is it? Our Backlash got a 4.88. Backlash has been our highest rated WWE show of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, that makes sense. That was a hot crowd.
Yeah. Well, considering Backlash, had we given that a solid 5 across the board, I wouldn't have been surprised. I think so
for sure. Yeah. Obviously, this is the highest rated AEW.
Yeah.
If you take out the Wrestle Kingdom rating, because that was just Tommy New Japan show.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff. And
I'm okay with that because
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see how anything just tops what Forbidden Door did, and we're only halfway done with the year.
Well, All In is the one I think.
Good luck. I mean, this is gonna be tough, but
no, I know, but
I mean, it's gonna be a good show.
The All In may have the addition of that huge British international crowd.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, we do factor in crowd reactions, and that's
if you bring in the matches with that crowd. I think it could. It's possible.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there, Sean. I think Tommy's going to be there too on Sunday.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, that's how Tommy answer.
I will be there. We're going to be flying to DC on Sunday, so
DC.
Yep, spending some time there. And I'll shout out why we get to the end show here. So, all right, well, let's move on to WWE's Money in the Bank, and this one is. Second to the Rumble was becoming my favorite pay-per-view for WWE for the year. Just with the whole briefcase, who's going to get it? Where are you going to go with this? But I feel like right now it's almost predictable who's getting the briefcase this time. And I know they're trying to sell, they might change their mind. I don't know about that. So it's hard to say.
I don't know. I mean, I know who I want to get it, so
Yeah. But we'll go into, and I'm gonna throw this out here. First question: is this the time when we finally see Roman Reigns not open or close a show?
Yes, I want to believe yes.
Okay,
I'm gonna go no, and I say the Bloodline Usos starts the show and then a ladder match right after that. I don't think they start with the ladder match.
What if they close the show? And whoever wins the ladder match cashes in after the match is over at the main event.
You're not going to have Roman lose it now with the cash in, are you?
I mean...
Actually, Mike, I kind of agree with JC on that one. Because okay. If who I think who I want to win it wins it, I could see that happening.
Okay. Well, let's go through this. The way I have this laid out, obviously I'm just going to pick like some of the non-title matches. We'll pick the title matches. We'll pick the ladder matches last. So we'll start with Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio.
Cody, sorry, you didn't ask. I'm sorry, you didn't even ask. It was like a brain tick. It just like sorry.
Okay, hold on, Tommy. Rhea Ripley is now staring at you as you answer again. Are you sure you want to say Cody?
First of all, she can stare at me all she wants, and that's 1,000% okay with me. I'm still going Cody.
Oh my god!
I love when they close the show.
Damn it, Doc!
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm going Cody as well. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cody.
Okay. Yeah, simple enough, right? So.
But in all honesty, though, I gotta give Dom his credit. He has just become a magical heat magnet, and I gotta give him his props, dude, because he takes it all in stride and he keeps going, and that's how you become a star, dude. And like he's so good at it. He doesn't have to talk. He gets handed a microphone, and the boos are automatic.
Well, let me throw it this way here, and if you're in the chat, like let us know who drew more heat just for holding a microphone. Was it Vicky Guerrero or Dominic Mysterio?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
I think just because she did it longer, right now it might be Vicky, but if this keeps up, he is seriously challenging that.
I also say that Vicky might win only because The Rock did a whole song about her and how much so she kind of, whenever The Rock does a song about how much people hate you, then you're kind of
also you gotta, in all seriousness, you gotta give Rhea Ripley credit with Dom too, because they have both just gone all in with their relationship on the show, the way they interact with each other. But on a small side note, internet weirdos. Dom's in a 10+ year relationship.
Yeah.
Rhea's with Buddy Murphy. It's a TV show. They're great together, But just like Jim wasn't really with Pam, just like Ross and Rachel aren't really together in real life.
Although they said it could have happened, they didn't realize they each had a crush on each other. By the way,
but again, they're not together. It's a show, and they're probably really great friends. You can tell. Actually, I think all of Judgment Day has become really great friends with each other. The way they are with each other, but like chill out, man. Let them live their lives.
People are weird. That's just the easiest way to put it.
All right, the Bloodline versus the Usos. The Bloodline, of course, being Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Not Jim Kennedy. That's right. Gosh, I'm gonna go with the Usos on this one. It seems like the logical choice here. They're breaking away, and maybe Solo takes the pin. Obviously, they maybe protect Roman. You would think so. I'll go with the Usos.
Right there with you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Usos. Yeah, because I feel like I feel like they've got so much momentum right now, and I mean, it's not like it used to be in the day where this could be that'll be upset of the year. No, it's the freaking Usos. I mean, even Kevin Owens said it. They're the best tag team in WWE history, and I just read the other day they're the longest tenured tag team in WWE. Like they've been on 13 years. Yeah, and honestly, I get why tag teams break up and stuff. And I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying, but that's an incredible feat to make, because even the Hardys broke up like 8 times by now. So
and also with the story that's going on here, like if Solo takes the pin, then who does Roman have to get mad at? Because are you gonna turn on the only person who's still with you? So I think that would add, maybe Heyman. Yeah. But I think if Solo loses, although there are rumors that they're bringing in the other, is it
one of the Fatus?
It's a big ass family.
Yeah, there is. There's legitimately like another one that's there.
Like who are they going to fly to London for this thing, right? So
that's how they got Solo.
Isn't that when Solo? Yeah,
but honestly, at this point, they're like I still think about the Hobbs and Shaw movie where they were like I was like, okay, aside from Roman Reigns, who else in that cast was actually their cousin? They said, hey, we need another extra. Can you just be at the movie set? Like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So
also, Roman was one of the smaller ones in that family. So.
Dude, that was a scary thought. I was like, good God, he's a small one.
I don't know if that makes sense because the Rikishi would probably align more with the Usos, right? It would be,
and also to be fair, he doesn't quite move as well. I'm not trying to knock him or anything, but he's older now. He doesn't really move like he used to.
But it would be interesting if he sided with Reigns and not his sons.
True, that's the Doc. Damn it! What the?
Wow.
I did invite her onto this. This is my fault. I did. Yeah, this is my fault.
Women's Tag Team Championship: Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. God, as much as I would love Liv and Raquel,
I would love it. Yeah.
Yes, I'll be cheering for them, but head says it's got to be Ronda and Shayna.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go Ronda and Shayna.
Plus, also, in all fairness, if you keep Shayna and Ronda in a tag team, that keeps Ronda away from titles, from single titles. So if we can find Charlotte a tag team, and then Charlotte
just have them trade the tag titles back and forth.
Just go back and forth exactly
for the next 2 years.
And Shayna, they didn't care about the women's tag team titles before this. So would it really be that big of a difference if they did that?
No.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hey, Lacey Evans, you busy? You want to tag team?
Well, she's busy having Sergeant Slaughter be pissed at her for actually being a Marine when he wasn't. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Wow.
Damn. Write her down. Now, Intercontinental Championship, and I've been back and forth. And I've been back and forth with this one. Gunther defending against Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
This is a hard
Gunther.
one.
I'm going
Gunther. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It cannot be Riddle to dethrone Gunther.
Not in that side of the world, too. I'm going Gunther as well. But
I'm going to go Gunther.
Yeah. It's still, I think that's a close one.
No, it'll be a good match.
Oh, it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
But I think Gunther's he's been on this tear lately, man.
Shout out to Riddle, by the way. So.
Yeah. But Gunther's been on this tear lately, man. Like, and to the point where like everyone respects him. Like, it's like you can't find one person who can say a bad word about him because they just all like him so much. So
yeah.
All right, now World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defending against Finn Balor.
You know, this is a harder choice than I realized at first when they first booked this, because this could actually go either way. Good.
Hey, Doc, you be on every show, please. I appreciate you coming on here. Yeah.
Well, Doc, you're officially one of our favorite commenters now. You gotta watch it every week.
I mean, this is what wrestlers feel like when you're at ringside.
Yeah.
You're experiencing.
Wait, why is this?
Well, they're not running him down, so you know.
Well, no, but you know, Tommy's the one who brought them on here, and several of the comments have been at Tommy. I think that's that's the other side.
Everybody loves Tommy. Mike, who are you picking on this one, Rollins or Finn Balor?
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb and go with Balor.
Right.
For one thing, there was supposedly talk that WWE wants to have one of these matches like a big upset or a big unexpected thing.
I had heard that, yeah.
And if you do that, then you have Balor with that title, Rhea with the women's title. You have Dom being him, and Damian Priest is in Money in the Bank.
Money in
So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. And part of me wants Seth to have a lengthy run because he's deserving of it, but also he doesn't need it because he's Seth. And to kind of go back to Forbidden Door, I would still love to see Seth Rollins have a run with guys like Omega, Danielson, Ospreay, and all that group in his current iteration. But, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going with Finn as well. I'm right there with you. Like, this has all the makings of it, especially when you consider, and this is kind of a throwback, the first Universal Championship was won by Balor over Seth Rollins. Granted, Balor got hurt in the match, never really got to defend it. And yeah, this is a whole new title. I get that. But, you know, Balor's got Judgment Day in his corner. Rollins, sure, he's got the singing crowd, but they're not going to be ringside, right?
Yeah.
So, this has the makings of Balor being champion, holding on to Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest has a good shot to win the briefcase as well. So,
yeah.
Tommy, what about you?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Heads, Rollins, tails, Balor.
Okay.
Balor.
Okay.
Yeah, like no, I legit like the more y'all are talking, the more I was like I wasn't getting convinced either way. I was like the more you guys are talking, the more confused I was getting. So I will go Balor.
You know what, Tommy? You just gave me an idea.
Oh,
I'm gonna buy some D&D dice for Impact and just assign each wrestler a number, be like 17.
Dude, that makes as much sense as anything else. I can't even get mad at you for that plan. I'm mad I didn't think of it. You're right.
The next Casino Battle Royal, you're going to be using 20-sided die to figure out who's going to win what. Yes.
I, as long as I can get a list and number them real quick, and then it's just like, ooh, natural 20. It's the Joker.
Yeah. And Doc, appreciate you too, by the way. Sorry, comment. Yeah.
All right, on to the briefcase matches here. Women's Money in the Bank. Participants are Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark. Why is Zoe Stark still in the Rumble? Bailey, Io Sky, and Trish Stratus. There's a throwback for you guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
This one is probably the hardest one to there's no clear route that they're going to go with this one. It's hard to choose. But I am going to say Bailey. Because how great would it be for her to be holding this briefcase? Who's she going to go after, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Bailey winning the briefcase here. That is my prediction on this. And I don't have a 6-sided die to go with this one either. Mike, where are you going with this one?
Oh, I like that pick so much. Obviously.
Yeah.
But given recent reports of someone being more in charge of creative again and having more say, I don't put a lot of faith in it. I'm going to go Becky Lynch. Because it's the one thing she hasn't done in her resume, and I think her taunting and hunting Rhea would be a lot of fun. Because Rhea Ripley, for the most part, hasn't actually had a lot of women's titles matches. She's been getting a little bit of criticism online about that because she's mostly involved in the Judgment Day Dom stuff. But if there's anyone that has it, well, I mean, Bailey does too, obviously, but to kind of taunt her on the mic and tease her and mess with her head about cashing in, I think it'd be fun with Becky.
All right, and Tommy.
I'm actually gonna go Io Sky. That was another name I heard thrown around, and that's of course, personal bias is slipping in on that one because it's Io Sky and Japan.
It would further the damage control story.
Yeah,
I'm sure Bailey would be super jealous and be like, "Oh, that's awesome! I'm so glad you won."
Yeah, good for you.
That's so I'm picking, but deep down, I'm really kind of rooting for Zelina Vega. Like, I would love for her to win this. I think that would be
that would be cool, especially after the ovation she got in Puerto Rico. So
so all right.
So no one for Zoe Stark.
Yeah, no one for Zoe Stark. Why is Zoe Stark still in this money?
I'm kidding. I'm like, wait, she's in it? Okay.
Yeah. Doc is going with Tommy on
yes
as well. So now men's Money in the Bank. Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight.
She did tell me that you're the Doc's comment. Yeah, me and your dad still have heat, by the way.
Yeah, your dad has heat with me too, and I don't even know you.
yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. I got heat with him over that. She laughed when I told her that. I was like, no, I got heat with your pops over that, man. You might, yeah.
All right. Do you need glasses? What? Okay.
Probably.
The bank is Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. Now, the odds-on favorite, what everyone has seemed to be predicting, is that it's going to be LA Knight. Damian Priest seems to be a close second here.
Yeah.
Please, dear God, don't let it be Logan Paul. He doesn't need it right now.
Look, go do your flips. Go run into Ricochet in midair again. Recreate that. Want to dance with Nakamura, whatever. But no, dear God, no. I want to go with LA Knight because he's starting to get that the crowd's not going to let you not.
Yeah, the crowd refuses to let him be a heel, a full on heel anyway.
Yeah, Sean, exactly. That's literally the second half of that is kind of what I feel like. I wouldn't be mad with any other person in here as long
Mike's as yes, Butch won. It wasn't Logan Paul.
No, dude, Butch would be cool.
No, Butch would be a great choice. Like legit.
Escobar, that would be awesome too.
Yeah. So
anybody but Logan Paul.
I got LA Knight. I legitimately do because I and this is another personal bias, and here's why. When he was in between Impact and WWE again, he was at BOW for a show. And I think I've said this before. And he like during the match, he just like grabbed the mic and cut a promo while he was wrestling. And the first thing I thought was like, how did they not get this guy over? How did they not utilize this guy to the fullest? This dude's amazing. And when he got hired to WWE, I was like, please let him. And then he had to do that stupid the male models gimmick, and I'm so glad he broke away from that, and they gave him a chance to wrestle again. Oh, by the way, do you guys hear why they made him do that?
Because Vince McMahon thought it'd be funny.
No, they said it because they thought he was too old to wrestle now.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, and like some of the comments said, it's not his fault. Y'all didn't sign him again in time, and y'all released him in the first place. But yeah, no, but. I really think he should win it because I think he's got superstar written all over him because the crowd's already behind him. They try to make him a heel and the crowd just doesn't give a damn. I know because I don't give a damn. I'm cheering for him. So
yeah, I'm going with LA Knight. Also, Burnsy is as well. Go ahead, Mike.
No. Real quick, back to Vince McMahon. We all know that most elderly people not very good with technology. So somebody set up a fake Zoom call. Someone there in the stadium just be on there with him. Be like, oh yeah, I'm writing all this down. Totally sending this to the creatives. Surely it can't be that hard to fool him and make him think he's on the Zoom call. And
it shouldn't be.
There's AI technology now, right? They could probably type, oh, we got to do this in text, Vince, and just have the AI type back to him. Like, keep him busy. Just keep him away from this stuff.
A bunch of deep fakes on Zoom, right? So. Yeah, so that question is getting back to what we said. if the bloodline against the Usos closes the show, do we potentially get a cash in after that main event match, especially if the Usos win?
I will say yes, only if it's LA Knight.
Okay. Now, does he claim both titles, or does he have to pick one?
That's what confuses me about this. I still don't know.
It's just the one title now, right?
That's right. But Roman's just carrying everything around.
It's still listed as two separate titles, though.
Officially.
Yeah, it's still officially two separate titles.
But I'm sure the gold belt's going to be what he walks away with, right? I would think.
Yeah, I assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, they made the whole Triple H came out and made a whole big spiel about it.
It's still listed It's still listed everywhere online as two different belts. I checked. I double checked.
And I'm going to say no. Not that I wouldn't want LA Knight to, but I don't think they would do that, especially with Vince in charge. And also, at this point, you've got to have Roman lose it as a big show, right? You can't just have him cashed in after this whole story and run.
Yeah.
Unless and granted, Seth's got his own titles. Unless Cody or Seth was the one to win Money in the Bank, I just can't see them cashing in for Roman to lose it. But that's me.
Well, is there a chance they add someone to this match on Friday before we get into the event?
There's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7.
6, 7. Who? Brock Lesnar?
That's literally what I was thinking.
We're gonna do that again?
But he can't challenge Roman though. Like that was a stipulation from one of their matches. He can't challenge him anymore.
Yeah.
That's true. Unless Vince McMahon says, "Well, we need him to wrestle him."
Of course, Vince and long term and continuity aren't
that's
exactly
true. That's a really good point.
Exactly. Well, that is our predictions for Money. Sean says Randy Orton. Hey,
I wouldn't be mad about. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I wouldn't be mad about that. I don't care. So, I'm happy he's almost back.
Almost there. All right. WWE Money in the Bank is Saturday, July 1st at 2 p.m. Central Time, guys. That time is wrong there. I forgot to change it on the graphic.
Don't you dare.
So that's 2 o'clock, not 7. 2 o'clock Central Time. From the O2 Arena in London, England, will be on Peacock. So going to be nighttime over there, middle of the day for us, which is kind of nice to get like a little late afternoon pay-per-view for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch this Saturday night, though, because I'm going to be at Wonderland for the RCW stuff, which is when that starts. And then I got to go to my grandparents for their 7th anniversary. So
congrats
I'll check this out in the evening.
Yeah, congrats on that. And Jason, I hope with everything with Emmy that you're wrong. You have absolutely no idea how much I wish you're wrong on this one.
Oh, cool, Sean. Yeah, we'll be there too for part of it. So
we plan to stop just for a little bit. It's been a long week for me.
Yeah, if I get time between my daughter's softball games, because she's got a tournament out in shirts on Saturday, I'll be checking out results and stuff. Although I'm sure T and I will be watching it in the evening that evening. So all right. With that, we move into our 1 minute warning segment here. Mike, do you have something this week?
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready, set, and go.
So I think I've mentioned this before, and I may have even done something similar to this for a 1 minute warning in previous weeks, but I just want to reiterate and talk about how great the local wrestling has been here in San Antonio recently, and also the community of wrestling fans. As JC knows, and because we've been going to wrestling shows together, and even the local indie shows since around 2007, JC and then when we met Tommy, we're always making friends with everybody, and they were talking to these wrestlers and talking trash, New York Yankees, Astros about stuff, and I was just kind of like, yeah, it's cool, they're all whatever, and I never really put myself out there, but this past year. Between Mission Pro, the hybrid shows, RCW, BOW, I've had a blast, meeting people like Jason. Haven't had a chance to meet Bernsey, although he's on here. And a lot of those regular fans that show up. It's been really cool. And, using this also, we've gotten to know the people involved with the different companies really well. And they know us, and that's been really fun. So, go support your local indies. I mean, even if you're not on a podcast trying to meet and get interviews, it's been really fun. Like our friend Clint, who drives down who had been driving down from Kentucky, He's always posting. He's apparently at shows like twice a week, 3 times a week, up there in Kentucky with OVW, and then Impact does a bunch of stuff. So, go celebrate it, meet people. It's a bunch of fun. I'm really glad this past year I've done more of that, and I look forward to it. There's just a regular group of people there, and they know me now, which is weird, but it's fun. So
nice. Yeah, it's been great, Mike. You're doing a fantastic job with interviews and everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate all the work you're doing. Much appreciated.
We're working on another one, but we'll a couple actually, but we'll see what goes there.
All right, Tommy, you got something this week?
I don't think I do. Wait a minute. She would bring that up. And I can't confirm. Yeah, this did happen.
Wait, what exactly happened?
How should I explain this? The dog is an interesting character. She's a nutcase.
It's a friend of yours, so that makes sense.
Yes.
Said my friends.
Yes.
I can't remember all the details anymore. But yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll tell you guys next time. Yeah.
Well, another video this week though, right? So
yeah,
good. All right. Geez. I don't know if I have anything other than to say this is crazy to me that Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
That just killed my train of thought. I don't even know.
Doc Schiavone is good at that. She's really good at that.
Yeah. I will say this, it's great getting to watch Forbidden Door with you guys. We did it last year, and I had so many memories of last year watching Forbidden Door, and then at the same time my eyes glued on my iPad while the Avalanche were in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
I remember that. Yep.
And winning that. So the kids were excited about that. But seeing that, being able to share that with my kids has been great, and even to the point where after Monday they were asking, "Hey, are we watching wrestling tonight?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I haven't asked that in a while, guys." So I will say it's been fun doing all this, seeing Forbidden Door. Like, this is just amazing, and I'm really hoping we see more of this. Once a year is great. We were seeing to see New Japan with Impact. We'll see if WWE ever gets involved with this. I highly doubt that, but I do also want to make the time to say thank you to everybody who bought a raffle ticket and supported my daughter's softball team. She ended up being the top seller.
Oh,
so,
cool.
As I mentioned, that's going to be $100 in our pocket so that we can pay for gas money. And all of that is definitely going to help us as we make our way to the Pony World Series. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah. And with any luck, we'll be at Mission Pro.
You want to interview Lou Gotti?
Can I punch him in the face? No, I'm kidding. I mean, okay. In all seriousness, if I can put aside all the jokes, everything, I would actually love to. I actually might have to hit him up about that, because he actually does a lot for pro wrestling in Texas, and I can't stress that enough. He does a lot for wrestling in Texas. The character of Lou Gotti in the ring, I can boo to the cows come home. I legit do not care. But as the person who behind the scenes, that dude's pretty cool.
Tommy, I also got to throw this out there because I got a recommendation at Hybrid, and there's a couple people. There's actually several people now who have kind of told us or asked us about being interviewed and being on the show. Casey Blackrose mentioned someone to me that we should do. There's another person that I talked to who's really excited about wanting to come on the show at some point. So that's really cool, and I'm glad that we've created a format for that. So there are a lot of potential things. There was gonna be one this Friday, but we had to reschedule. But hopefully as we go through summer and in July, we get some more people on here, because it's fun, and I love learning about these different people, like hearing their stories. Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I've seen across so many of our interviews is that passion for wrestling. Yeah. That love for wrestling. And when you have that, I think that does a lot for you. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, what's on top of the horizon? Of course, next week we're gonna recap Money in the Bank, which once again is this Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time on Peacock. It's going to be taking place in London.
MBOW's next week.
And then
next week, yeah.
Maybe have an announcement next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. All right, we'll see.
We'll see about that.
Week after that, we'll talk about Slammiversary. And the week after that, we'll talk about Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, which is taking place in Trenton, New Jersey on Friday, July 21st.
Isn't there also potentially a week you're not going to maybe be here?
That's the Slammiversary show, yes.
Okay.
That's the week that we're in Laredo for the Pony World Series. And so, Mike, Tommy, you guys are going to be talking all about Slammiversary.
Are we? Or are we just going to do it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Well, time to bust out that 20-sided die, whatever scramble match comes out, put that together, Mike, so.
It is Impact.
It is Impact. They did just announce a 4-way for the tag titles.
Oh God!
Yes.
On the tag title. Damn it!
Let me pull that card up because that's an interesting match too. By the way, let me see.
Sean, real quick, I'm pretty sure he lives in Florida now.
Yeah, I think he moved to Florida.
Promoting wrestling, but I've seen him pop up a few times on social media.
Yeah.
He apparently sold ACW, and it's run by
Marcus Rose.
There you go.
Yeah, because he runs as part of HOT. They haven't crowned the new champion yet because he's been restructuring it a bit. But I think that's supposed to happen soon.
So let me go ahead and show you this graphic that they announced this morning for Slammiversary.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now okay. Okay, I'm with Mike. I'm gonna go buy some dice tomorrow, because F that, bro. Who the hell booked? You know what? Damn you, Scott D'Amore.
There is actually such thing as a die to roll to 4.
Yeah,
it's kind of triangular prismy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna go to what's the name of that store? Like, I'm gonna go to Heroes and Fantasies and Alien Worlds and find some dice and just start buying some. It's like oh, they're gonna ask, oh, are you getting a D&D group together? No, I've tried to make wrestling predictions and I try to predict wrestling and I've given up doing it myself because clearly I suck at it. So
yeah.
JC's like, yeah, you do. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have to get one myself too, just because this is gonna be crazy. So yeah.
And Doc, we were talking about Darren Childs. He ran Anarchy Championship Wrestling. I don't know if you went to those shows. I can't remember if you were there, if you went to those shows or not. Sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. We do appreciate it. Again, if you're watching us after the fact, let us know your thoughts on Forbidden Door. Let us know your thoughts on Money in the Bank, and when we talk about it next week, we'll see if there was a cash in. What happens,
Okay.
It is, it's funny. Bryan Danielson and Okada didn't want to follow Omega and Ospreay. I don't really know if Money in the Bank wants to follow Forbidden Door because it's going to be tough to follow that show.
Yeah, okay. And here's the thing. To be honest, they can do it. Will they?
Yeah. So
time will tell.
And that's be the best show of the year, but just put on something decent. So yeah.
Also, there's that little fact that I don't think a women's Money in the Bank outside of Carmella has lasted past the Monday after Money in the Bank. All the other people either cashed it in that night or
that
fought for Carmella the first time.
Yeah, Carmella's, it was like they had to redo it because of the way she wanted to and everything. So yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Steady. That's why we weren't sure about the announcement.
I didn't know if we were allowed to discuss that yet, Steady. But
yes, we could announce it. Yes, Tommy at the Superhero Comic-Con and Car Show next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend.
Friday, 3 p.m.
On Friday, Tommy will be moderating the Jade Cargill MJF panel on stage at the Superhero Comic-Con and Car Show. So, weren't sure we were allowed to say it, but hey, Steady, if you're throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's gonna say. I was waiting until we were allowed to bring it up before I could say.
That's why I said an announcement next week because I wasn't sure. I wanted to check after this, but also just for some behind the scenes for people, before Saturday night, Tommy was a little unsure, or Sunday night. I'm sorry, Forbidden Door Sunday night. Unsure about having to do something like this because of MJF being MJF. But then, as you heard earlier, when he wore that jacket that said New Japan is an indie, Tommy has no fear now. And I don't know what's going to happen. He's going to do a professional job, of course.
Will I, though? Stay might have made a mistake after that jacket.
No, but yeah, so come out to the Superhero Comic-Con Car Show next week. Friday is going to be the wrestling day. Yes. That's the only day that MJF and Jade will be there. But it should be fun all 3 days.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. We're going to have the show Wednesday next week. I'm flying back from DC that day. Should be good to go to talk about Money in the Bank and also mention my wife's birthday, which is on this next week. So, yeah, part of the reason we're making the DC trip is not only to spend the 4th of our nation's capital, which I've always wanted to do, but she wanted to go somewhere big for her birthday. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So
awesome.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are
fake. No, we cannot, Steady.
God, boy. Shut up, Steady. Thanks.
Adios, Gunther.
We'll see you next week.